Leaving English 101 and entering English 102, I was ready to challenge myself as a writer. Over the course, I feel as if my writing has changed and improved. Since the beginning of the semester, my main goal for this course is breaking my bad habits in writing, specifically how I view peer review, my ability to think critically, and to communicate effectively. I need to focus on taking my writing process slow. I don't like to be rushed in general, and I like to take my time, but I needed to add that mindset to my own writing. One of the first problems I noticed that carried on from English 101 onto English 102 is my writing process. I wouldn't complete my assignments before the due date, only the day of, but that resulted in rush and sloppy writing, which made me doubt myself as a writer, and I became embarrassed. My old idea of writing is completing all my writing in one sitting, with little planning or revision, and creating a perfect paper. However, with every assignment, draft, revising, and reflection in English 102, I now see why building upon an idea and having multiple drafts is better. For example, a paragraph of mine in writing project 2 was choppy and felt wordy. I didn't notice it at the time. I was proud of using my own data in comparison and got a little too excited and over-explained it. For example, a paragraph of mine in writing project 2 was choppy and felt wordy. I didn't notice it at the time because I was proud of using my own data and comparisons and got a little too excited and overcomplicated all my sentences. I then decided to simplify my own paragraph, and it made my essay flow much better. When turning in writing project 1 rough draft, I was insecure about my writing due to it being rushed and sloppy, but my professor reminded me that it's supposed to be a rough draft. It's not supposed to be perfect. She left me a comment. It now reminds me to write slowly and take my time. With those words, I was able to break a bad habit, and that bad habit was a huge challenge of mine. I also had to shift my mindset of only my professor to read this to my target audience is reading this and trying to understand what I'm saying. I started getting into the habit that English 102 introduced, which is asking questions to myself about my audience. The main questions I had to ask myself and answer were: who am I writing to? Who is my main audience? What would they know and not know prior to reading what I've written? And what do I want them to take away from my writing? These questions helped me figure out who is my specific audience and how I can properly and effectively communicate with them through tone and language, along with figuring out what type of essay I need. Overall, it did help me understand rhetorical awareness. This awareness is something that I can use to continue in both academic and professional writing in the future. This also allows me to figure out the audience I'm speaking to in everyday life. My career goal in life is to be a nurse. When speaking to different people and patients, the tone I use and the words I use is crucial. I need to speak calm, compassionate, but also forward. Another area of growth I see in my writing is the positives of peer review. I used to be embarrassed and scared in my writing, but I noticed the differences in my papers. The essays that were peer reviewed, I happened to be more confident, versus the writings that had zero peer review, where I would be at a block on how to revise it myself, ended up not revising it and disliking my writing, which became a constant loop and struggle. Moving forward, I would like to continue to learn how to revise my writing. I feel as if my own version of writing is looking for grammatical errors or misspelled words, so I'd like to build upon it and learn more tools and strategies I could use. In conclusion, this course has been an important building block for me as a writer. With every tool, awareness, and writing technique, it has taught me a lot of new ideas to implement to improve my writing. The progress I have made this semester has given me the tools and foundations I needed to develop my skills as a writer deeper and apply them to new challenges and opportunities academically and in everyday life.